That is not a good scooter. It's a great family scooter. It has to satisfy, if not please, every member of the household. A big responsibility.
Right. But the sensibility quotient of ICE scooters is under threat. Have you seen the fuel prices?
Yeah, it's pretty steep. But if you're talking about sensible, comparing an EV and an ICE just goes out of the window when you look at the prices. There's like what, 30,000-40,000 rupee difference between the two.
But that's when you're considering the ex-showroom price. When you factor in the on-road prices along with the government subsidies, the difference is less than 15,000.
Okay, that's a fairly narrow gap, but do you think an EV could really please everyone in the family, you know?
Well, I guess we just have to get on the road to find out. So you know who makes the real decisions in the family, right?
Me?
No. The real veto lies with the women. And that means that these scooters not only need to be sensible, but practical too.
Okay. On that front, the Jupiter has got the iQube covered because the iQube, because it's an EV, has all those batteries. It's 11 kilograms heavier. And as we've seen, the seat height also with the redesign is a bit more. So not as practical as the Jupiter.
Sure, this is a bit heavier and a bit taller, but it's a well-balanced scooter. So when you're on the go, you don't really feel the weight. Really? Yeah. So let's address little sister's concern first, with ease of handling.
Oops, what a predicament. A dead end, a steep incline. Now you're gonna have to push them back up. I guess not gonna feel like much of a difference now, huh?
Why not do I even agree to such things?
Get going.
You know what? Not bad. It actually feels light.
Okay.
Let's try this one.
Feel that? Feel that? Muscle. Feels nothing? Feels like nothing?
Okay, you know what? Technology comes back to the rescue. What's this? How about you get your own scooter? With the iQube checking off Lil sister's big concern, it was time to take care of the boss of the family, Mum.
That is supposed to be the future.
And for that, the family scooter had to nail comfort and space.
So, when it comes to keeping Mama happy, I think it's the Jupiter that's going to be better because the ride is more plush, and even with a pillion on board, it's just kinda.
When it comes to the iQube, the suspension is on the firmer side, so you do tend to feel the ripples, the bumps.
Especially from the rear because the motor's mounted on the rear wheel, right?
Yep.
Because of which, the iQube has to use twin shock absorbers to control the extra weight on the rear wheel, while the Jupiter makes do with a monoshock.
But when it comes to running errands for Mum, I think both of them are pretty evenly matched.
Yeah, but considering that is supposed to be the future, you still have to open the seat unlock is back there, right?
Yeah.
Very modern.
But when it comes to running Mum's chores, I think both of them are pretty evenly matched, right?
Yeah, you can carry just about the same amount of stuff on both, but I think the iQube is just a bit more convenient. The floorboard is wider.
Storage space. The iQube, because of its rectangular design, I think it's just easier to pack stuff. And when it comes to college goers, just plonk in your laptop and you're good to go. I mean, you gotta look out for us guys, right?
Fair enough, good point.
You know, practicality, usability aside, us brothers need to look out for the family here.
Slalom, you want to go cornering on scooters?
It's not for the fun aspect. I mean, it's for people to feel more confident on the scooters. Trust me, just come, you'll learn a lot.
Okay, you go first. Well, this was pretty insightful. I mean, it became clear to me that Jupiter is definitely lighter to steer and therefore easier when commuting in the city for sure, right? That does feel a bit heavier, but it feels pretty planted.
Both scooters are roughly the same size and they use the same brake setup, discs at the front and drums at the rear with combi braking to help things along. Unsurprisingly, their braking performance was equally good.
And the best part, technology makes everything so much nicer. So the torque delivery on this, for instance, makes weaving through traffic so much simpler.
Yeah, it's smoother and just more responsive immediately.
But that's not it. I mean, our performance test also proved that this is almost half a second quicker than the Jupiter. So, you know, when mom calls and she wants you to get back home as soon as possible, you know that's the scooter that's going to get you there.
Half a second. That's a lot.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's race.
Done. Drag race. You're up?
Litmus start.
Let's go.
Yeah? Chal.
And sometimes technology gets in the way. Unhindered by electronics, the Jupiter zoomed off, hitting 80 kilometers an hour, something the iQube's electronics won't allow it.
What's 107 divided by 62?
What's the watt-hour per kilometer?
Battery costs over the next 4 years will be...
Will petrol costs go further up? Dude, we can't forget the man of the house.
You know what? There's a reason why there are dad jokes.
Listen, it's gonna be no laughing matter convincing a dad to buy an EV as the family scooter.
You know what? I get that, but let's keep the math aside for now and let's just talk about the iQube. It offers so much of a rich experience. It's easy to ride, it's intuitive, and that's what dads will love about it. Let's take the region for instance. You roll off the throttle, you don't really need to rely on the brakes. It just slows down automatically. And then there's a way it delivers its power. Even in eco mode, you can top up to what? Like 50 kilometers an hour?
Really?
Yeah, it's easy to keep pace with traffic. And just in case you need to switch to highway roads, you find a long stretch, switch to sport, and you can push till 80 kilometers. That's more than enough.
But tell me, when the battery runs low,
Yeah.
does it then start dawdling around?
It actually doesn't. I mean, you can go down to 1% and still have 37, 38 kilometers. So it's so easy to keep up with traffic.
So it feels like a regular ride even when it's low on battery. But what about the range?
As per our performance test, we got about 83 kilometers on a single charge, which should be more than enough for anyone.
One sec, that's with you on board.
That's with me on board.
In eco mode.
In eco mode. If you have two on board and say the charge drops down to 70, do you really...
So your range, you're saying even if there are two people on board, the range could drop down to 70?
Could drop down to 70. Do you really see yourself exceeding 70 kilometers for a daily commute?
For most family scooters, that should be enough.
That should be enough.
I think that should be enough. But the costs, I mean, at the end of the day, the numbers have to be convincing, right?
Let's get down to math. TVS offers a 50k warranty, and that's over a course of 3 years, right? Take that as your baseline. If you're looking at running the Jupiter and considering the current fuel prices, that's going to cost you over 86,000 rupees over a course of 3 years. In case of the iQube, you're spending about what, 13,500 rupees? Yeah.
Wait. But you've not factored in battery replacement costs, and that's going to be big.
That's going to be big now. It costs about around 30,000 rupees. Let's take 30,000 rupees as an example. Over the course of 4 years, it's going to drop down to around 15,000. So you saved about 70,000 in running costs already. Even if you minus 15,000 for that, you're still saving a lot of money.
That's a big chunk.
That is.
While you could say that the Jupiter's switchgear quality feels better for the lower price, the iQube does pack a bit more, like the digital console, LED lighting setup, and the plug-in charging cable which comes as standard with the scooter.
So are you trying to say that anybody looking for the next family scooter should be bringing an EV home?
You know what? Hold that thought. Can we head home for now?
Why, what happened?
I'm running a little low on charge.
Huh. Let me finish this. So, why do we have to run home?
Well, unfortunately, the iQube only comes with a standard charger, so it's slow charging, which means you might as well find a comfy spot to get it topped out.
And the batteries aren't removable?
No, it isn't. But it would be so much more potent if this came with a fast charger.
Yeah, that would definitely make it a lot more flexible.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's got to be convinced that an EV can be your family scooter.
It's definitely narrowed the gap between the two.
So much so that actually, if somebody's looking out for a family scooter as an EV, this is pretty potent, and TVS offering ICE and EV alternatives, I think it's incredible. And the best part is, for buyers out there, there are more and more exciting options also coming our way.
And the infrastructure is going to just get better from here on. So,
EVs.
EVs. मेरे क्या
Super.